Boom. How's that? Should be good again. Anyways, my bad. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I think we are good. Let me just ping the crew just in case anybody wants to hop in. All right. Well, welcome to Thanksgiving week. Happy holidays, guys. Not really a huge week coming into this. Typically a little bit low volume. So as we get through this, just kind of be a little cautious. Got a couple trades on. I'm somewhat monitoring at the same time. And looks like the dollar is going higher one more time. If you're not familiar with this week of trading, just as an aside, it's a little bit of a slower week. I'm not planning on trading Thursday, Friday. I will be trading Wednesday for sure. But it's going to be a little bit of a light week. So just going to hop into this just because I know it's a little bit later and I do want to watch the trades because things are kind of starting to pop off right now. But if you're new to this or if you're new to this stream, I see comments coming in hot and heavy. Look at you guys. Okay, got me. Audio not working. No sound. Let's see. CL boom. Can you hear me now? Somebody give me an audio check. Yes or no. I see Nick, Adam, Cisleo, Teresa, Jacob, welcome. Chris, welcome. You guys all rock OJ6. Cool. So I think if you're not, since we're still kind of starting, why don't you guys just shoot this video out? Maybe like throw it on your social, something like that. See if we can get a couple more people in here. Yo, Paris, what's happening? Let me check this. Howdy, Pursuit. Check. What's up, man? Cool. Uzi, what is this? Jason is my spirit animal. Hilarious. All right, Lita says yes. Okay, hear you now. Beautiful. All right, so we are good to go. I think one sec. Yeah, let's roll with it. So I'm not really sure where this is going. It might be going to Twitter. It might be going to Twitch. It might be going to YouTube. But apparently you guys can see me and you can hear me. So I love that. So good morning. Cool. Like the video wherever you are. Share it out. Appreciate the love. And happy Thanksgiving. It's Thanksgiving week, man. Hopefully you guys got your Black Friday shopping list ready to go. I know I got a lot of stuff planned to buy. So looking for those end of the year kind of deals, right? And by the way, if you don't have TradingView, you guys, this is the one time a year that you absolutely. So I buy TradingView, like the full version, premium version, whatever, because I like all these charts and everything. I got like 8 charts on each little tab. This is the one time a year that you buy TradingView. So it's like 60% off, something like that. Let me see if I can find it and I'll post it in comments for you guys. But yeah, you never get a better deal than this. And this is the one. Black Friday. Cool. Boom. 60% off. Check that out. You never get it. I already added it. So anyways, I don't have to do more. But yeah, just started. You got about 4 days to go. This is number 1 on my shopping list every year. Just kind of what it is, right? This is my charting tool. And yeah, don't really have a better one. Not for you. So we shall see. I do like, we'll see. I got a lot of camera gear and stuff. Hopefully we'll get an upgrade to the computer systems here and get a little bit better stream quality. So excited about that too. All right, well, I think it's just going to be me solo today, so let's get on with it. If you're new to trading options, just got to read this quick disclaimer. Please call 1-888-OPTIONS and get a copy of characteristics and risks of standardized options before you start trading. I do need to point out before we get started that you should carefully consider whether trading is suitable for you, considering your circumstances, knowledge, and financial resources, as you may lose all or more of your initial investment. So if you haven't seen this before, or if you have, this is what we do. Every single Monday, we come in, we approach this like a business. My Disney is dying. We'll see. That might be lame. We approached trading like a business. We had a huge week last week. Actually, there was like 13 Fed speeches. I don't know if you guys caught that, but early on in the week, there was one notable comment, and I forgot who it was. I think it was like right out of the gate. It was like this messaging campaign, right? Where one of them was like super hawkish meaning like we want to raise interest rates. And he was like, yeah, we could see a target rate of like 7%. And the market was like, what are you talking about? Like nobody had 7% as a target rate in mind. Everybody's been like in that, sub 5, just 4 or 5, maybe 5% target rate, meaning what are we hiking to? We want to get to what interest rate on the Fed funds rate. And yeah, when he said 7%, I think the market kind of just took a little dump ski as a little quick shock. But I think that's okay, right? I'm still in the mindset of this is going to be viable dips for sure. As we look at this, like the Fed has room to start talking, right? To start talking hawkish, meaning like we want to scare the market, don't run too fast. And a lot of that, as we look backwards, right? We've been looking at CPI and PCE, PPI, all these inflation kind of metrics, and really what's going on is that if you scroll back and you look at some of the other prior weeks recordings, it's like, well, the Fed's been raising interest rates, right, in an effort to slow down consumer spending, but consumer spending or slow down consumer spending, which would then in turn decrease inflation. But inflation wasn't decreasing. It just kept going up and up and up. And we're like, holy crap. And it wasn't until I think it was about 2 weeks ago now that we got this CPI that was just like the market just exploded, right? And for me, like that was like, okay, this is probably a justifiable rally at that point, because everybody had been really just pricing in like, oh, it's the end of the world. The market's going down to 3,250. We'll see it. So you saw this like nasty bearish talk all over Twitter, all over social, which, sure, it is what it is. But when you hear stuff like that, that's when you got to start thinking, okay, maybe the bottom's in. Can it really get any worse? That's the question. Can it actually get any worse? Well, I'm looking around. It's like, at least from now till December, and I see, Wade, your question, right? So when is the next Fed meeting? This is what it is, right? At least from now until we get to the next Fed meeting, which is going to be December, we really don't have a whole lot of indecision stuff in front of us, right? It's kind of like a quiet period, right? So like what's going to happen is like there's nothing that's really going to scare anybody from jumping into the market. So this is part of that setup for that Santa Claus-esque rally. And to boot, right, we did have that midterm election, and I believe, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but the best case scenario for the market would have been a stalemate where there's like House and Democrats, one Republican, one Democrat, and that's what we got. So in terms of government spending, that's actually good. So meaning they're not going to go crazy shopping on random stuff, and they're not going to be basically printing a whole lot more money or spending a whole lot more money, because that's what matters in terms of inflation. So we got this great CPI number that was way better than expected, better meaning lower. And then the one that was most important to me was PPI, and we got PPI last week. So that was going to tell me whether or not that rally was justified or not. And actually, check this out. So the actual core, so month over month, Tuesday we got PPI, and PPI doesn't move the market a whole lot, but for more advanced traders, this is more of a leading metric, not an indicator, leading metric, whereas CPI is always backwards looking. So PPI, producer price index, that's what the manufacturers are seeing in terms of their inflation, and will they decrease, or will they basically pass that off to the consumer? I see Jesse's on. Just wave to me when you're ready to hop in. Oh, you're in? There you are. What's up, dude?
What's going on?
Jesse, he's on live.
What's going on?
Or not. Hop in whenever if you have anything too, by the way, dude.
Yep.
So we got PPI in, And actually, so the consensus number is what matters when you're looking at the stuff. What's going to move a market? So consensus, so headline producer inflation was 0.4%, right? Core was 0.3%. I think stopped for a little bit, 0.3%. And what came in was half that and 0% on the core number. So that's like a big deal. Really, I mean, to me, it's like, oh crap, that last rally was probably justified. And then we got this other weird choppy number, right? Which was retail sales. And that's where it kind of got a little shaky. So we kind of flatlined as a market, right? So Tuesday, we got great numbers. Wednesday, we got retail sales. And so remember, if we're trying to pull off or slow down consumer spending, that's what's going to matter, retail sales. So the consensus was 1 for the month over month. X autos was a big component, and we came in just a little bit hotter. Not including autos, we actually came in a lot hotter. So we have these like counteracting kind of data points. So it kind of puts this market in a little bit of stalemate. And I think, as long as we stay over key levels, we should chop probably to the upside. But this coming week, we really don't have a whole lot. Jesse, are you on? You got audio?
Yep.
Cool. You got any headlines? I got a couple of headlines that I did see last week. But anything that stood out to you over the weekend in terms of news events or anything like that you want to go over?
Just Disney, which I think I see you have on here.
Yeah, Disney. That was a huge one, right?
Huge one. Yep.
The House of the Mouse, man, is coming back. I'm excited, actually. That's such a big deal. If you guys don't understand, like Bob Iger coming back to Disney, when you have a CEO that's like Bob Iger to Disney is like Elon to Tesla to me. Probably a bad, a little bit overboard on the analogy part. But yeah, he's the one that set up Disney Plus, the streaming piece, the piece that's going to bring Disney to the next level. And if you guys don't know, Disney's growing like very rapidly. There's so many headlines. Disney's, getting bigger than Netflix or going to be. And it's interesting, right? Like when he left, it was such a bummer. I think the stock took like $20 nosedive, but that dude took Disney from like $25 to like $150, right? And he led the whole thing all the way. Chapek is the current the CEO that's going out. Do you know if Iger is full time or was he an interim? I think I heard interim for a second, but yeah, I don't really know. But regardless, Disney was up massively in the pre. I just entered some calls. I'm a little bit of a drawdown here. Watching this 97 level on Disney, we can take a look at the charts, but I'm still there. I think, I think that's going to be really good. They needed him to be at the helm for this next generation of Disney investors. Let's call it the House of the Mouse is back in order with Iger at the helm. That's all I know. So the rest stuff. So. Funny thing, right? There's a lot of news about layoffs and things like that too. I think Amazon, Facebook, obviously, I believe it was even Google. A lot of big cap tech, white collar jobs, major layoffs. So that's actually good for the interest rate thing. So we're kind of in this, let's say, bottoming process in terms of, are we at peak inflation? And I think that we are at peak inflation. And I think the market knows that we are at peak inflation. That's just my 2 cents. Now the next question is, will inflation come back down and how fast, right? So if we're at peak inflation, what we're going to see next is probably some pretty epic rallies like we saw on Thursday, but they could be quickly faded over a considerable period of time while inflation either falls off a cliff. There's two kind of camps here. There's inflation is going to fall off a cliff or it's going to slowly kind of grind lower. And a lot of that has to do with, Wade's asking, when is the next Fed meeting? This is the biggest thing. So between now and the next Fed meeting, if you guys don't know, the day before the next Fed meeting, we actually get, we get a CPI date. So I'm just gonna go to this, let's say next month, and I'm gonna find it for you real quick. So non-farm payrolls, it's in December. So get this. So December 14th is the next FOMC meeting, right? And so that's the big day. That's the big day. But what sucks about that day is that on the 12th or 13th, literally one day right before, there's going to be that year-over-year CPI data that, right now. So right now, the forecast is that we're going to come slightly lower. So maybe a little bit, lower on the month over month. We'll see, because we have this is lagging. So this will be November. Oh yeah, close these puts if you don't have it. I gotta type in now. Sorry.
You in Disney puts?
I'm in Disney calls.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, from what we have a lot of, I'm around a lot of macro guys. What everybody's saying is that we are either have reached peak inflation, like you said, or it's being so priced in that obviously we're not getting as high numbers. The data, like you said, in December is going to be the big one. I'm looking at the Forex Factory December 14th, like you said. And then the next, we don't have another funds rate. I don't. Oh, we see federal funds rate February 1st.
Yep.
I think if we don't react in December, we'll react in February. So that's my thinking, at least.
So that's actually exactly where I go, right? So right now I look at, so this is the CBOE Fed Watch tool. Just Google CBOE Fed Watch, and you'll get to this screen, right? It'll tell you, like, right now the market's pricing in, this is a 50 basis point, 85.4% probability of a 50 basis point rate hike in December, and only 14% for a 75 basis point. Had you looked at this before that CPI meeting, it was actually like 50-50 split. And the second that CPI data point came out, it was like, boom, right? Total change. And you can see, just like comparing, this was here a month ago, right? It was like 45 and 51%. That's where it was. And as we've gone through in time, it's like this 85% has slowly creeped up. And as long as this keeps creeping up, then I would say the market is actually going to track exactly with that, right? What Jesse's talking about is that we have December 14th, then we have February 1st is the next one. And so if we're looking at a 50 basis point here to 425, maybe 450, then look at this. The market is pricing 25% basis points for February already, right? And so this is the one that's going to start changing, right? Before we were like, 50, mostly looking at a 50 basis point for February. But as we move forward, we don't have a lot of data points until that next CPI meeting or FOMC meeting, or the 13th, which is when we get the CPI. But this, if you just watch this tool, this should give you a clear picture of what the market's going to do. And as long as these dark blue bars keep moving to the left, well, the market should continually go higher. So what are we looking at? 25, 45. Yeah. And then 25 in March to nothing. So right now it's 25, 50%, give or 40%, 25.
And flatting out in March.
Yeah. And then May. So they're still pricing in rate hikes all the way out to May. And it's not till you get to June that the market's saying we flatten out. So we might hear some talk about, what do we hear? Pivots, right? Fed pivots. So let's just, to be clear, a Fed pivot would be like the Fed reversing course, which they're not really going to do, right? They're not going to decrease rates, right? And so what the conversation is going to turn into, it's going to turn into, how fast do they get back to a flat line or a zero rate hike? And then it's going to be all eyes on how fast does CPI and inflation start declining, right? So let's get back to this. So this week, we really don't have a whole lot, right? National Fed activity came in right now. What is this? Let me see if I can. I'm just gonna see if we can make it a little bit bigger. This is fine. So nothing really today. As I look at this stuff, you guys, just by the way, I am in the West Coast, so all these times here on the left are Pacific Standard Time, so adjust accordingly. We do have a handful of speeches tomorrow. You got to figure out what's up with this crude situation. We're like kind of dumping. I don't know if we bounced or not. Oh yeah, we did bounce. There you go. Back to that's a big old bounce. And the Dixie, the dollar index, man, just going higher. This is those are the things that you want to watch right now. So Wednesday is going to be the biggest day of the week. So today, mellow. Tomorrow, mellow. Wednesday, if you're going to pick a single, that must be a Twitch something coming in here. If you're going to pick a single day to look at what's going to happen in the market, it's going to be Wednesday. And you guys, we get FOMC minutes on Wednesday. So what are FOMC minutes? If you're not familiar, FOMC minutes are all the, the stenographer notes or whatever, basically the notes from the last FOMC meeting, all the stuff that we don't really hear. And what the market's going to be listening for in those is really how hawkish or dovish are the rest of the Fed governors in general, right? So if you have people that are historically dovish turning hawkish, or historically hawkish turning dovish in terms of their commentary, that's what the market's going to be looking for. It's going to be hard to dig into it, but Wednesday, that's going to be the day that's really going to determine, where are we going from here. And historically, this week, today, Monday, is a little bit of a down day, and we flip bullish. If you look at Thanksgiving week in terms of trading, it's a low volume week. But again, this is typically the beginning of some of that Santa Claus rally stuff. You get some PMI jobless claims. Again, I really don't think is going to really do anything. Durable orders, no. Just looking through. New home sales was interesting, right? So if I look back at some of the stuff, we did have housing number. I think I've heard some comments about like, are we going to have a housing crash? It doesn't look like it. If interest rates are peaking, right, and you look at TLT, the 20-year note, sitting at $100 again, that's pretty good, right? So if interest rates are peaking, and they start to come down, that's going to be super interesting for the housing market, at least. So potential bounces over there, different pieces in the housing market. So what do we cover? So we covered layoffs, we covered oil prices, which are bouncing right now. I think that was a pretty heavy sell-off this morning. And Coinbase CEO, did you catch this? Offload 1.6 million shares again, right? So Coinbase sitting at like $45. I was thinking, man, I was hoping that they would have like, I had this like case in my head where it's like, well, if it's bad for FTX, I think Coinbase will probably withstand this in my mind. I don't know, right? But the share price right now is kind of scaring me. I haven't looked at the crypto market. I know Bitcoin was down this morning.
Yeah, I heard people were pricing in Bitcoin to like 9K total.
Oh yeah, I was
like a price target. I haven't touched crypto, to be honest. I don't have any exposure to crypto.
Yeah, no, I have. I actually, that was my first realm in trading. But yeah, I mean, this stuff. I've been through plenty of crypto winters, and they're not fun, man. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I day traded crypto for a while.
90% drawdowns, but it's not. It is not looking pretty right now.
Yeah, you mentioned that November or Thanksgiving week historically has been choppy. I just looked, and last year we opened and closed within $1 of each other for 4 days straight.
Nice.
So,
yeah,
pretty gross.
That's kind of what I was looking for last week. So, oh man, this nat gas too. We talked about Boyle, like this nat gas play, the other day when we're coming into what to pick out in terms of what I'm really kind of looking for now is I really do think that this is like a buyable dip in my mind. And so, like that said, it's something where I want to have a shopping list, just like I have a Black Friday shopping list. You want to have a shopping list of stocks, right? And I think that's really important. If you're new to trading, this is is UNG for whatever reason. Like I know some people that are short, super short UNG. I don't know, but to me, this chart looks nice for basing out. Right, we got 2150, give or take, a couple more bucks till we run into this 200-day moving average. But it's having a great day today. That's all I can say. And if this is a higher low or an equal low right here, this is going to be pretty nice in terms of entry for nat gas. Look at this UNG chart. I mean, this is like what happened here. Anyways, I probably shouldn't use that one as a metric. I don't know the futures data on that. But so what we are seeing, so what I'll do typically, and this is just for me, and I haven't done this on this piece, but I believe that you can take a look at a heat map, right? Heat map. Boom. On TradingView. So this is a nice little heat map. So tech down, oil was down heavily. Tesla were short. Oil services down a little bit today. So we'll see how that trades out. But what's good? Disney, staples, right? It's hard to see in here. Healthcare, and it doesn't really show durables or staples. So I'll show it here. So consumer staples, right? Financials doing okay. Healthcare doing okay. And industrials still kind of holding up well. Utilities fine. If I take a look at a 1 month, right? What are the sectors? 8% on staples. Energy, maybe a little extended. Industrials, maybe a little extended. But utilities and healthcare and staples, these are the ones that are kind of starting to catch up, right? 5-day, staples, utilities, healthcare. So this is where I want to be right now for the back half of the day, and I'm just looking into rotational stuff. So in terms of staples, it's a Walmart, right? You get these kind of like boring stuff. Kimberly-Clark, I was on a space the other day, and one of the guys was like, historically, Kimberly-Clark has a 100% win rate of being up like this current week, at least a couple percent. It'd be interesting. Let me see. Where is that? What is that? Can-be? Kimberly-Clark. Oh, yeah. It's a nice, clean chart. So, well, congrats on that one. I think that's easy day. All right, so I'm going to jump into the charts right now. Actually, Jesse, if you want to share, happy to have you chart something out too.
Okay.
In terms of, I just want to take a look at like SPY, and if anything is popping out to you, I'm going to go over the dollar, and then so SPY. So typically, I have this orange box as my average weekly range on SPY. If we do go to the downside, remember this. So here's my level, and Jesse, you can add to this. So this day right here, this Thursday, this is when we got our CPI data. And to me, this is the most important day for SPY to come up with our levels. It gapped massively in the pre-market. Look at that big old green thing right above that prior consolidation up here. And it came back. There was one little pullback moment. And I mean, teeny tiny pullback moment that it gave you. And look at this. I mean, this is like barely. I'm trying to make this a little bit bigger so you can see it.
Yeah.
So
you had 2 entries that whole day.
Yeah, 1, 2, maybe. Like, and even this, if you bought this, you're probably not going to make a whole lot of money because that was pretty expensive, I would assume. So I might just take a look at this level just in case. 385.79. If we were to wick down there, sure, right? We could wick down there, but for right now, it's this level right here to me that was defended pretty heavily. So it's right here. This is 388.84, and this has been my level all week last week and all week, and it's still in play this week. So right around this 390, 388 kind of area, it could be like a range right in here. And if I pull this back, right, that those 2 lines, look how important this little area is. So if we're coming into that, I think that you could trade into that. Look at this. I mean, this is a massive level. But if we lose this 388, at that point, I could say all bets are off, right? If we lose it and retest it.
Yep.
I know, Jesse, you're more of an intraday trader. So if you want to give us some levels, you feel free to share. I believe you should be able to share.
Share.
Can pop this
Present
over.
maybe.
Yeah.
Screen.
Present
Try
screen.
it.
Cool. There he is.
Yeah, so I have actually 390 first.
Yeah.
How I'm looking at it, or how I look at day trading, like, consistently is, are we making higher lows or higher highs, or lower lows or higher highs? And if we break this level here at 390, I mean, we have a break of structure here on the left. This is on the 1 hour chart. But if I make this the daily, you can kind of see it's the same way.
Yeah.
So we have, this is a break of structure right here. If we break under there, the bears have control at that point.
Right.
Right
If
now
we're
we
breaking
are
them there. What's that fair value gap? And if you guys don't know Jesse, by the way, Jesse and I've been trading since I think since you first started going full time, right?
Yeah, this year.
So congrats, dude, by the way, if I haven't told you publicly
Yeah.
on the switch, right? Dude goes from fireman to full-time trader. I love it. But
almost been a year now.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big deal.
Big deal. Yeah. So this fair value gap, like you said, is a big one too. A lot of trapped sellers there. So if we don't have enough buyers to hold over, it's going to be a little sketchy close.
So if you guys see a little bit of a break, right, and Jesse trades the strat as well, so we both are stratters, I guess you could say. Probably not the typical type of stratters, but in the strat, there's this thing called a pivot machine gun. If you're not familiar with that type of candle, but it's like where does the momentum like really build up, right? And so if you see SPY breaking below 385, 387, or going up, retesting 388 and failing, that's the one time in the next couple weeks where I'd say, okay, you want to look, that's a heavy size trade to the short side, right? And you have a very quick setup that would actually create a lot of momentum to the downside on a rejection below 388, right? Maybe 385. I don't know if you have a level for sure that you're looking at, but that would be that clean reversal, right? Where the bears do come in charge, and it would be, it would be a break below 388. And then it would bounce up just a little bit. It would probably bounce around 385, and then it would come back up to 388. And if you see rejection there, boom, right? Nice drawing, dude. That's the rejection. That's where you can get a ton of momentum. That's the one you're going to be looking for the short side, right? In the interim, right? What we can see is that we're still basing, right? So in the interim, you have that, like, I don't know how many, intraday, the daily ranges are getting smaller, right? So if you're trading options, you do kind of, unless you have a specific setup, you do kind of want to look for something that's a little bit closer to the money. Know that we're still very much range bound right now. So what's your trigger to go long today, Jesse?
My trigger?
We're probably triggering right now.
Yeah. Let me see. For intraday, it'd be different. Intraday, yeah, it's triggering right now. Here, or go down to the 5 minute. Yeah, that's a new higher high. So it would be triggering now to go long with your targets here at 395, 397. For swinging, you're not. Yeah, for swinging, you're not looking to go long for a swing yet.
No, I'd have to see a first break above.
Yeah, 397 at least.
At least.
Yeah,
I'm more safer, right? So like, there's a little bit of a. Here, I'm gonna take over real quick just for a sec. So there's a little bit of a downtrend, right? And so you could say that we're breaking it right now. I'm gonna take this off. Actually, I'm gonna move this. So if you look at today's high, and I'm just gonna go very myopic view here, like short term, couple last trading days, right? Sure, we could come back up to this trend line easily, right? And so that's what Jesse's saying, right? If you're gonna be trading intraday, you have a little bottoming formation here. You got a trigger right here. This is a 5-minute. That's fine. You could trade to a target 395, which is exactly what he was saying, right? But right now is what I would say right here, 395. What it says right now is not the time to be YOLOing, 4K plus, calls for any time, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be choppy for sure. I'm
Well,
gonna pull up.
it's not only choppy; it's low volume. I'm looking at
Yeah.
Friday on the 5-minute chart. We're almost half the volume all day for the 5 minutes. So
Yeah.
you're going to get wicked out as well a lot easier since it's low volume.
Yeah, so I just looking at volume, right? This is it is like half the volume, right? Mine are, I usually have these like pretty low, but here I'll just do this. I'll make it yellow. So here's volume is like the average, like there's nothing burger in terms of volume.
Right.
What's funny about that too, though, is that you can get some pretty sizable moves on low volume. Just saying. So do be aware of that, right? It's not that you can't get the moves. It's like if all the sellers disappear or all the buyers disappear and it's just low volume, like that's when you can get some pretty sizable moves. But it's going to be at specific levels, right? Like on SPY, like we kind of wick down. This is like a failed 2 down on the strat, right? And so, yeah, you could come up to 395, give or take. It was a quick push and fail, and then come all the way back down to 390, right? And test that base again. But that's going to be kind of like your today's trading range, like very, very tight, right? Something like this.
Yeah, we've been within 10 points on ES all day.
Yeah. Yeah. So the daily ranges, basically the daily, what SPY is actually trading it is getting smaller and smaller, right? So we were here, right? This was Friday. I think this was Thursday. It's tiny, right? After we have a big move like this on Thursday, you got to expect like very small moves for the next 2 weeks, give or take. So that's what we're running into. Hopefully by Wednesday, I think Wednesday is the day that we're going to get the actual volume. So be trading Wednesday if you are a day trader. Before I'm going to move on to this real quick, a couple other things. If you guys want to do it Qs, I'm going to skip Qs. I'm going to skip Diamond, and I'm going to skip IWM just for time today. I'm going to go straight over to the Dixie, most important chart of this of the market to me, right? So the Dixie, I had 107, and I'm going to go back to my 30-minute chart. 107.68, and this is the one that's going to determine your direction in general as in terms of the market, right? It's not the VIX. The VIX, you guys just saw, like SPY is in a it's in the same damn range it's been for I don't know how long, right? Like months, right? It's been at 390. I mean, we were talking about 390 back in May. God, that's like a year. That's a really long time. 390 in May. Yeah, 200 days. It's been basically at this midline, right? So SPY should VIX should be very, very low, which it's not. It's 22. Sure, it's low. It's declining is what's important. So your options premium, if you're a long options trader, look, it's going down. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that, right? It's going down slowly, not enough to make a whole lot of money on puts or anything like that. But the one that's going to give you your direction intraday is the DXY or dollar index. So that said, I had these two big old pivot, like I don't know if they're pivots, but they're prices of interest, let's call them, right? Right here and right here. So this is on the 12th of September, give or take, 13th, and then the 26th of August. And it was also kind of like a little breakdown level when we were pressing higher. So what's interesting to me is Dixie bounced right off 200-day, and we are just breaking above this 107. We have a little fair value gap to hold here. This is what I'm thinking. Like, I'm thinking that we could bounce up, potentially get near this, and that hopefully is the lower high. So I'm watching for Dixie around 110 to take my shots long as a confirmation if I get a rejection around there. But for now, that's going up. Crude, do you trade crude, Jesse?
I do, yeah. I didn't trade it today. Should have, but didn't.
Yeah. Do you need levels here? So we're kind of breaking.
79 is the huge one, but we broke that today. Pulling up my CL chart here to see what my levels are.
Yeah, it's on it.
CL.
Right. This is a big old horizontal. I'll just give it. So yeah, so this has been the level that we've been battling with for all year, right? July 2021, right?
Mhm.
Big breakdown level here.
Yeah, 85 as well, but we're
was
clearly above that.
Right around there. So we're testing like big time support here. So it's gonna look choppy. Look at that.
Mhm.
I got a huge hammer. But unless we can get back above 85, right? That's the level Jesse was just talking about. It is another massive level. Above 85, we should bounce, right? Those are clean levels to trade around. In between now and then, you could probably be trading in this kind of range. Man, that's a big old buy.
Yeah, I've got 75 as the bottom of that range. If we break below that, there's a fair value gap at 74.30. But other than that, there's nothing really below that until.
Man, we are just creating fair value gaps left and right on crude right now. Look at this thing.
It's when SPY's chopping, it's my go-to because it's moving all the time for some reason.
Yeah, and this is a nice futures contract too. Look at that, fair value gap 76. You're coming right back into this range here. So I got a weekly level here. This is that's a monthly level. Prior month low at 80. So $80 was that first break, right? It's gonna try and reclaim that. It might reject. So if it does reject around there, that's when you can look for that retrace. I'm gonna take another one. So I do have a little bit of a gold trade on. I have it on GLD. So today is my decision day, right? I need to see a bounce. It's either today or tomorrow. I'm gonna give it. So I want to see a bounce really at this level right here. This is 161, and so we had this very clean kind of like. If you guys pull this chart back, I wonder if the gold chart is gonna actually be a little bit cleaner. Yeah, a little bit cleaner. I can take these strat levels off. So purple is the 200 week moving average. Red is the 200 day moving average, which we just kind of rejected off right here. So we have a little bit of overhead resistance right around 1790, which is, I do have to use this. A little bit of overhead resistance right around this 168 level. And it's technically a lower high. So we only got to 166. So here, this is weekly. I would really like to see it bounce right now. And if it doesn't, then I'm just too far away. I need either more time, but I'm going to sit in a drawdown, which is what I'm mostly concerned about. So we're sitting at 161 and change right now, which, so clearly levels here, right? 1, 2, 3. So this is prior resistance. I'm looking for this prior resistance to become future support. So hopefully either by the end of the day or tomorrow, I'm getting a little bounce right now. God, those orange circles look so big when you change your time frames. I don't really need to go a whole lot farther back, but anyways, this is where we were. So if this doesn't hold, then yeah, we're probably looking to come back down to that 200 week and test it. So I may just be forced to close this, but I'm liking this bounce at the moment right here, right now. Or I might just hedge this with some short-term puts. We'll see. I like the trade. The problem for me right now is the Dixie, right? The Dixie bouncing. That would be Kind of rough on the gold trade across the board. We'll see. You got to watch it. So if the Dixie does get back though below 107.50, it's pretty bullish to me. All right, guys. So huge hammer, yeah. So I think Nick is looking at crude. We talked about nat gas shorts. If you guys have any, let's say SQUA, what's that? Is that Penny? What's up, Penny? Oh God, what is up, dude? I'm just going through the comments. It's hilarious. Yeah, so if you guys have anything you want to take a look at, we can. I only have a couple charts to check in on right now, so shoot them into the chat right now. So I'm currently in a Tesla short at the moment. It's not a swing, it's a day trade. We're coming into my targets here. Look at this. I've had this stupid target on Tesla for so freaking long. So what happened today is we broke that 170, 180, right? And to me, we head straight into that 200-day or 200-week level. And you know what I'm going to do right now? This is a weekly chart. It might be a little much. Oh God, we're squeezing on the daily to the downside and to the hourly. This one's got a little bit of momentum. We are going to run into this 200-week moving average at 160, which will absolutely be a resistance. So I am going to, you guys do what you want. I am going to close vast majority if I get there. And right now, what I did is I just took this volume profile from that last consolidation, this consolidation right here, gets us to 145. So 145 would be like my maximum target if we flush through that 200-week moving average. But if I look across the market, pretty much everything else has hit their 200-week moving average. There's only a couple that haven't, right? So Tesla is the one triggered short this morning again, right? And this morning, this is a 30-second. You don't want a 30-second. Let's get to a 5, right? This was my major level, this 175 right here, right? And we broke below. We came back in flushed it, and then the second one right here was rejecting Friday's low. That was entry short. And here we are, just kind of continuing. So we have this 172 right here, which was in the pre-market of the 10th of November. That's the low. That was, to me, right here, we were going to defend, and we rejected one more time. So we're going to 160, 165 probably today. I feel bad for Tesla holders, but maybe short-term puts are going to be good for a hedge. This is going to be a perfect example of that kind of low volume sell-off, right? Like, what's our volume today? Do we have volume today?
We
have volume today.
Yeah, on Tesla.
It's not a lot of volume, but it's enough volume. Yeah, it's not a ton. It might just be Elon. Who knows? So that's short side targets for sure. I just, as long as we're under this 172, if Tesla does reclaim 172 at some point this week, that's where I would trade probably for a bounce. But it would have to be a break first and then a bounce up off of, right? So it'd have to do something like that, and it would be a 172 to 175, maybe 178 at most. And then, if it does continue above 176, above 172 to 176.50, call it. That's first one. And the second one would be if it breaks and bounces above that. And I could see this. There's a little bit of a fair value gap here around 185, but not long until then. Not thinking 185 until it's above 176 and has already broken like 178.50. Oh, poor Tesla, man. Oh, that thing is just going. Good night. All right. Yeah, Elon Tesla 165 is today's ADR is average daily range, right? So if you guys are, this is Nick. So he's talking about average daily range. That's part of how we create our targets or how I create my targets. This is where volatility is going to increase. This is where we're going to have the maximum kind of like value on my puts or, on my calls up here. This is average daily range to the upside. Tesla moves quite a bit. So it's a daily driver for most people. You want to take a look at Disney?
Yep, I've got Disney on my list.
Yeah. So you got this. So I have this chart on Disney for me goes way, way, way back, right? And I have this massive supply zone that we kind of wicked in earlier. But we're way out of now. We've got a break of structure today, right? Yes, sir. So higher high today after a lower low. So we have a clean break of structure. Disney is now in an uptrend. This is not basing. This is now in an uptrend. So we got a gap though. You think we fill this gap? Hard to say.
Let me pull it up. I'm looking at after this NVIDIA and Shopify. Yeah, I don't know. This gap here is above the break of structure. So we went on the week. We went 212 up. Pretty much at a low. We wicked. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. We wicked into this $95 zone. I'm looking at Disney calls for, or at least swinging shares or something, some way to get exposure for this move up to 108.
Yeah.
That's my target, especially with fundamentals on our side now. Big red day for the market in general. A lot of profit taking right now, but I don't know if we go below 96. 96 flat.
Yeah.
What I'm looking at.
To me, like if we do bounce, like I can let this go. I don't need to catch a bottom on this guy, and I think Jesse's going to be the same, right?
Mhm.
What I know is that we've made a higher high, right? So if 97 is that prior high, we've cleared that, right? And we've already made a higher low. So this is a higher low, prior low here. So higher low and a higher high. My entry is going to be on, that next higher low. The only issue with this guy right now, it's going to be like one of two things. Either it's going to be back above, either this gap does not come into play anytime soon, and we're back above 98, then I can trade to 100 plus to the upside. Or we get to near closing this gap, and I'm looking somewhere in between 94 and 92 for a bounce, which would be then one more higher low. All bets are off below 90. If this thing collects or cracks below 90, it's going back down, and probably to that 78 kind of level. But let the market digest this one. Yeah, I don't want to get caught in here. You had what was the other one?
Shopify. Shopify is at a golden zone on the daily. A lot of chop though.
Yeah, so when he says golden zone, so we're using fib retracements, right?
Mhm.
So this swing high to swing low, and you just go left to right. That's all we're talking about. I have students that always get kind of confused. So it doesn't matter high low, it's the left to the right. If this was, if we were looking, if it had already bounced, I'd be looking left to right. Let's say it bounces, right? It's just left to right when you're drawing this. There are, for me, 0.5 and 618 are pretty much your main things. So when Jesse says golden zone, that's what he's talking about, right? So from the last low to the last high, right? Last low is here. You have this big candle. We're looking for these kind of breakouts to define our low, right? So this is low, higher low, right? So and it's in an uptrend, right? High, higher high, higher low, higher high. Now we're looking for a higher low. So where is that going to be? It could be anywhere in this if we combine, right, our little smart money concepts, call it, plus the strat. I'm actually looking around this 3150. If you fail this 6.
Mhm.
I would say if you fail 6.5.
Yeah, Shopify wasn't my favorite one just because it is on the bottom end of the golden zone right now,
Yeah.
and it's below the break of structure. But it's one
What
of
do you
those
call
on
this
the
between
scanner.
6.5 and 6.18? I remember talking to Duke and he was like, "That's the golden pocket." Have you heard golden pocket?
No, I don't use the 6.5.
I do use
I just
6.5.
use
So
this.
6.5 right now is lining up to the 20-day, which is this gray line,
Mhm.
locked on the daily. So if we do get a bounce in this level, I could see that.
Yeah, if we get a bounce, Shopify's
So
clear up to 42. But
yeah, a bounce would look like it needs to clear 35, and then you're entering on a higher low, only if it bounces, right? And that higher low would be 34.80. So if it breaks 35, then I would be looking for an entry at 34.80, which is this order block, call it, right? 2 points, right? I need to see it make a new high above that, and then I'd be entering on a higher low, which would be right here. So that trade would take you to 36 plus. Otherwise, you're kind of in no man's zone. So right now, if we break and we reject this 200-day, that would be your short, right? It's kind of what you're looking for.
yeah, more so the green than the red.
Yeah,
At least for I'm looking at swings right now.
yeah,
Nvidia looks a lot better. Apple looks somewhat good as well. But Shopify was on the scanner this morning.
yeah. That's a big one. So I had Nvidia too. We can take a look at that. So Nvidia's been in a nice channel, like super clean upside channel, which it's been pretty pretty epic. Today though, like I have this kind of like failing. This is broadening from over here. I mean, this is a big old movement, right? But if something, and this is right now, I have a set to 2 standard deviation channel. If I were to maybe get 1, well, 1.5 is best. Beacon out on this, right? We kind of just broke up and then rejected off of, this is Thursday's high and the low of that channel. What's this wick? This is a crazy wick right here. Do you have this fair value gap here as a target?
What is it, Nvidia?
It's 137.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I do. I mean, this is a bit the break of structure fair value gaps at 142 all the way up to 155. But
So I'm short, right? And I always want to know, like, okay, if I'm short, where would the bulls really step in? They would probably step in right about here, and they would definitely step in around. So taking that fib retracement again. So I'm going to take the channel down, try to clean up some of this stuff here, so it's a little bit easier to see. I can take that down.
Yeah, you have 148.50 ish. Is that your target there? Yeah.
And just take a clean fib from low left to right. Right. So 50% retrace would be above 152.73.
Right.
You're gonna make me take my shorts down, huh?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're cleared
It's close.
to 148. If I'm looking for a like where I would step in as a bull, it would be anywhere in this zone between 152 and 148.
Yeah.
And we are closing. Well, so far, 1 o'clock, we are looking more like a shooter right now. So Bears definitely have momentum. But I'm looking to go long. Maybe spread it out for a December monthly, but I'd
Oh, look
like to
at
get
you.
a better entry.
Nice. Yeah, so you have definite supply over here, which is coming in. And then the top of this prior consolidation, right, is at 147. I mean, you're in the golden zone, right? 0.5 to 0.618 from this prior retrace. So
yeah, it looks like if you went 160, 170 call debits, you're at a 1 to 4 risk reward, and then if you go 170, 180s, you're 1 to 8.
let me see. What is this IV is super low. Man, Nvidia's IV has been all funky too.
Yeah. Yep. I'm kind of
Super
eyeing
low.
the 170, 180s, but it's kind of a flip flop.
134,000 calls, 140,000 puts. It's pretty even.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's funny here? If you went to December, and I'm looking at a single trader trade right now, and I do like this. It's a 150 strangle.
Mm.
So, because it could go either way, right? I mean, it's possible. So
Yeah.
buying the 150 call and buying the 150 put, straddle, sorry, at 17 bucks. This guy's got to move more than 17 bucks. I think so. And
Hmm.
IV is pretty low. That's an option. It's right in that level. Yeah, so it either comes back down, fills this fair value gap to 137. Your real trigger there is below 148, right?
Right. To go short.
Yeah. But until then, I'm just looking on a quick trade. I was just looking for this. Could go that. That's what Jesse's looking for. Any long run here. That looks good. I need to be, if you're short now, like me, I need to be very cautious of this 151 level. So to me, I saw this as breaking this 151 earlier today, right? Which was Friday's low. It did bounce. It didn't get over this. So right now I'm just going to hang tight. But if it does get back below that 151, sure, you're trading for this kind of like 618 level and looking for a bounce. It's going to be quick scalpy on this guy if you do get moves. Otherwise, yeah, it's setting up for a swing for sure. Either just wait or take a straddle. But yeah, December. What are you saying? December
16th, the monthlies.
Yeah,
It's
nice
looking
higher
at
low.
the so your price target if you're swinging for that long is going to be the highs. So 170 is going to be your price target.
Yeah, that 200 day right now, maybe even 180.
Yeah, so that's why I was looking at the 170, 180s. If you want to play a little close to the money, 160, 170s are not horrible, but risk to reward is definitely better further out of the money here. And I don't think the price target's terribly unrealistic.
No. If it goes, it goes. Did you guys see how fast this thing went when it did go? Like, good night. From that first trigger, it was like if you blinked 40% in 26 days. I think right now this is a typical just kind of breather on Nvidia. I mean, it could really come all the way down to 140 and still be in an uptrend.
It's definitely on the top of my list this week.
Yeah, you got that 200 day at 131. Yeah, definitely a nice watch. Nice little pullback. Longer term, if it does bounce here, that's a super strong bounce. So I like that for a watch for sure. Yeah, right now this is higher low, so this has got to be a cut on any puts right now, like as we were doing this. So higher low right there. It's going consolidation. Jeez.
Yeah,
All right.
not a lot other than those two on my watch list. At least the fib scanner that's really the best. You have Caterpillar, but not really attracted to that. Inside bar daily scanner's not really showing much. Baba, PayPal,
You look
TSM,
Baba
Uber.
Yeah, I had a Meta on the watch right now. A little bit of a fair value gap right here to 101. Call it 102. Triggering short almost now. This one's tough, right? So this one is very similar. It's like, Tesla was in this upward consolidation. Yeah, Meta will trigger short for me, not until it's below 109, well below 109. And I want to see it kind of like break down. Then it's a quick target. Otherwise, this could be a good target to the upside if it does pop up out of this consolidation.
Yeah, PayPal's in a golden zone too.
Yeah.
I like Meta though.
Yeah, Meta could be long or short. So trigger short below 108, trigger long above, I believe above 110, and you got some nice juicy targets to the upside. 110, 112. really nice targets to the upside, even though I'm not a fan of the company. But look at this. We got 128 plus. Call it 125 in the near term. If you get this bounce. That's a nice one. All right, guys. I think we're good. Yeah. 618. Oh, there you go. Uzi. Thank you, dude. Yeah, 618 to 65 is the golden pocket. Yeah, I use the 65 a lot, believe it or not. Cool. I think we're good. Jesse, dude, thanks for hopping in. I know you're typically this year.
Thanks for having me. Yep.
This guy's usually at the gym like deadlifting some crazy amount right now. We'll see. Yeah, I'm looking at this man. Dude, this is a very interesting level on meta. Yeah, man. If it reclaims that 112, that's gonna be a good one. Right, nice. Watch that for a higher low to enter long. Just for a basic retrace here, I mean, that'll be a very juicy bounce. Not a fan of the company, but I'm a fan of potential trade here. I do want to check up on a couple of GE I had. GE looks good. Ooh, this looks clean. Continuation. Staying long here. Not going to, knock your socks off or anything like that. But if you guys were in this trade since, mid 60s with me or whatever, this is pretty nice, high and tight. I'm going to check on existing trades. NEM, similar, right? So nice little bounce. This would probably be a good time to sell some puts on NEM if you can, if you want. I don't think it's going to be like a major breakout right now, but this reversal is happily moving along very nice. I think that was your shot, right? So looking at a longer time frame, taking the shot off. So if we broke structure high, low, low, higher low, wait, so high, higher high, our higher low is going to come in right here today, 44, right? So last call probably on NEM if this does go. Crude basing or not just basing, but like crude going down is going to be bullish for this guy also. So anything in the minor section, GDX, still looking very good from a reversal perspective. GDX might come down just a little bit. That's okay. Anywhere in this level right here. Load. I would rather NEM over GDX. That's why I'm talking NEM right now. It pays a nice juicy 5% dividend while we wait. So more of an investor. I'm gonna check in on Blackstone or GDX, which I grabbed yesterday or Friday. Still kind of basing in this happy kind of like support range. This potential investment could be breaking out sooner than later. About to squeeze on the daily and the hourly. We shall see. Below 81, give it a rest. To me, this is an investment though. So I'd still be a buyer. I won't be a buyer until we get like near 70s though. If it does fail, just be aware. We get this little formation. I don't know if there's a name for it, but you ready for this, Jesse? I don't know if you remember my drawings. Where's my pencil? We get this little thing, and I call it like the little triceratops.
Oh.
Right. Yeah. Little dino pattern.
Oh,
so
there you go.
Yeah, so this is typically how this plays out at, and why I'm so interested in this at this level. Sorry, guys. I know I'm a dork. But this is the triceratops pattern. Paper Gains patented. But yeah, you get this little press up and it comes back into this kind of support level, and then you get the bigger push up right after that, right? Just be careful because this legit, if it does do this, it sometimes can go completely against you and take that whole turn to the downside too. So just be aware. But right now, this is setting up for this little press. But look, this takes us all the way through the end of the year and then some, depending on my drawing skills. There. Cool. All right, guys. Cool. Yeah, bananas, right? Yeah, this is my banana play. I have this to 1096, man. I'm mostly out though at this point. Eating. I'm still buying fruit. That's all I know. Cool. All right, guys. It's a wrap for me. Adios. Appreciate you guys. And we will see you, I believe, next week. All right, man. Adios.